The docking arms of Galactic Concord Station clamped onto Earth's flagship with a hiss of containment gas and a low mechanical growl, like a beast swallowing its prey. From the observation bay, Ambassador Alex Rain watched the station loom closer, miles of alloy, lights, and arrogance floating in dead orbit above neutral space. She adjusted the collar of her black diplomatic coat, each thread laced with woven carbon protection, not for fashion but for survival. She had not come to negotiate. She had come to listen, to measure the lies in each smile, and weigh the traps hidden in friendly tones. Kanto's voice buzzed in her ear, low and alert. Atmosphere stabilized. External surveillance already engaged. Council session in 90 minutes. Shall I prepare your talking points, Ambassador? Keep them empty, Alex replied. Let's see who speaks first and how loudly. She stepped through the docking hatch into the station's reception corridor, a seamless arc of white and gold that tried too hard to look peaceful. Aliens of every morphology passed, scaled, feathered, translucent, plated, all pausing slightly at the sight of the human envoy. It had been that way since Earth joined the Council, tolerated but not welcomed. Feared, not respected. A century ago, humanity clawed its way into the stars with brute engineering and relentless persistence. But no warships or wormholes could soften their image. The galaxy remembered Earth's wars, its rebellions, its unwillingness to kneel. In the Grand Council Hall, the weight of theater pressed down like gravity. The chamber was tiered like a coliseum, with species clustered by alliance. Alex's seat was high but isolated, a reminder of Earth's independent observer status. As if being surrounded by predators somehow made one neutral. High Chancellor Verithan Isco rose from his throne-like perch at the central axis. He was the lean, tall, four-armed, smooth-skinned with opalescent eyes that never blinked. He smiled with precision, the way one might offer a hand before drawing a dagger. Ambassador Rain, he said, it honors us to host Earth once more. Your presence is always illuminating. Alex bowed slightly. The light often exposes what was hidden, Chancellor. Verithan's smile twitched. A ripple of subtle amusement passed through the chamber. The session opened with a drone of policy reviews and alliance extensions. Alex remained quiet, calculating. Her moment came when Verithan introduced a vote, Proposal C-29, a motion to coordinate wormhole usage through Council oversight, citing interstellar stability. The wording was vague, but the intent was not. If passed, Earth would lose autonomous control over its wormhole gates, a strategic and economic lifeline. Verithan's voice carried through the chamber like silk over steel. Given recent border volatility, especially in systems touched by less experienced members, oversight is a precaution, not a punishment. Alex stood. Earthgate technology was not gifted to us. We built it, tested it, died for it. If this council wishes to stabilize the galaxy, perhaps begin by stabilizing its own accountability. A low murmur swept through the tiers. The Thelene delegation shifted visibly. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed, an imperceptible tick of irritation. We mean no offense, he said, measured. Merely protection for all. Even Earth. Protection, Alex echoed. Such a generous word for control. She sat again. The vote was tabled for deliberation. The real decision had already been made, behind closed doors, through shadowed deals. But she had made her message clear. Earth would not be guided by a leash dressed as ribbon. That night, back in her private quarters, Kanto pinged her with urgency. Ambassador, a courier drone has bypassed standard docking and left this in our secured airlock. Alex opened the compartment. Inside, a sealed data shard, unmarked but coded in Council encryption. Dangerous. Possibly bait. She loaded it into an isolated decrypt chamber, fingers tense. The file was damaged, deliberately fragmented. Still, what it revealed froze her in place. Private communications. Redacted orders. Coordinated strategies. The war between humanity and the Diarikul, a savage 6-year conflict that claimed millions, had not been organic. The Council had seeded the chaos, funded DRACO rebellions, withheld aid from Earth's allies, manipulated communications to spark escalation, all in the name of observing human resilience. She leaned forward, reading again and again. They engineered our war, she said aloud. They measured our dead like variables. Kanto's voice, unusually solemn, replied. File confirms strategic manipulation protocols. Authorized signatures traced to Chancellor Verithan. Data origin internal. Alex stood still for a long moment, breath shallow. Then she turned away from the screen and opened her personal comm log. Encrypt a channel. Priority EarthGov. Direct to President Halvorsen. The screen blinked to life a moment later. The president, older now, gray curling at his temples, appeared with narrowed eyes. I was told you'd call tonight, he said. Alex nodded. They want to control our gates. But that's not all. They sparked the DRACO war, deliberately. The president said nothing at first. Then he looked away, jaw tight. We suspected. Never had proof. I do now, she said. Good, he replied. Do not show it yet. Let them feel calm. I will not sign anything, Alex said firmly. Even if it means walking out. That is why we chose you. The screen went dark. For a moment, the silence in the room felt absolute. Then Kanto said softly, What is your next move, Ambassador? Alex turned toward the window, watching the cold stars wheel beyond the station's ring of light. We prepare to walk. And when we do, they'll feel the void we leave. The Zarin ambassador waited precisely 11 minutes past the arranged time, sipping a pale violet liquid from a chalice shaped like a crescent moon. Alex Rain arrived at minute 12. Ambassador Sunkel's species lacked vocal cords, but the translator embedded beneath her neck scales hummed in clear, feminine tones. You are late, Ambassador Rain. Deliberately, I assume. Punctuality is a statement. Delay is a warning, Alex replied, taking the seat opposite. We need to talk, without council eyes. Sunkel tilted her head. Dangerous, if the wrong ears are listening. They always are. But they are deaf to humility, and I've come with that in short supply. A scan pulse from Sunkel's ring confirmed the room's shields were secure. Speak. Alex leaned forward, placing a compact cube on the table between them. This is a fragment of internal council orders. Redacted. Authenticated. You'll find references to operations, covert manipulation of the DRACO conflict. The Zarin's violet eyes widened slightly. That war ended millions. Alex nodded. And they treated it like calibration. A test to see how far humanity could be bent before it broke. Sunkel ran her fingers over the cube. You're not here just to share outrage. No, Alex said plainly. I want you to vote against Proposal C-29. I want you to talk to the Hydrexian twins, the Kreldar Envoy, and the Kalari Circle. Rally the outcasts. The old systems. They still remember imperial cruelty. You believe they'll side with you? Sunkel asked. I believe they'll recognize the smell of a lie that's ripened too long. Sunkel smiled with thin grace. Very well. But know this, Alex Rain, if you fail, Earth will stand alone. I'm counting on it, Alex said. Back in her quarters, Kanto projected the decrypted files again. With each frame, a pattern sharpened. Orders passed through shadow channels. The Thelene counselors greenlit disruptions in border comms and fueled disinformation campaigns. An operation titled Simmering Ice had been the blueprint, a controlled conflict where humans and DRACO bled while the Council documented results. Every scrap of information aligned with Earth's worst fears. And now, with Proposal C-29 on the table, the Council was closing the loop. They had tested humanity's resilience, and now they sought to cage it. Kanto's voice cut through the silence. Ambassador, encoded ping received from DRACO Quadrant. Designation, Royal Channel. Priority, unclassified but urgent. Put it through, Alex said. The holodisplay shimmered to life, revealing a looming mantis-like form wreathed in dark armor. Queen Zishal, monarch of the Dra Cult swarm, radiated coiled power. "You risk much by speaking to me, human," the queen rasped. "Especially uninvited. We have shared dead between us," Alex said evenly. "I think that grants me the right." Queen Zishal's antennae twitched. "State your purpose." "I have proof the war was never ours. You and I were weapons in someone else's hand." Alex transmitted a heavily redacted portion of the council files, just enough to show the rot without exposing her full hand. The queen studied it silently, mandibles slowly opening and closing. "This is treachery." "It is science," Alex replied coldly. "That's what they called it. Measured chaos. They nudged your young colonies into raids. Blocked peace offers. Fed both sides lies. We killed each other for their data." The queen hissed. "Why show me this?" "Because I'm not asking you to forgive Earth. I'm asking you to remember who manipulated us both. Tomorrow, I walk away from their table. I want you to stay silent, but not still. Let them wonder where you stand." Queen Zishal leaned forward until the hollow flickered with static. "They will not hear from me. But they will watch my fleets move. Slowly. Deliberately. Let fear serve you." The transmission ended. Alex allowed herself a single exhale. "Prepare the speech draft," she told Kanto. "Let's see how sharp a whisper can be." The next morning, the council chamber buzzed with its usual rehearsed civility. Veradhan presided from his pillar, gaze sweeping the hall like a merchant counting coins. "Before we resume the vote," he began, "let us welcome Ambassador Rain. We hope Earth's recent reservations have been resolved." Alex stood slowly. Her voice was calm, but every word was a blade. "Earth brings no new proposals today. No amendments. No rebuttals. Only observation." Veradhan raised a brow. "Silence from humanity? That is new. I find silence more effective than compromise with architects of war," she said. The chamber fell quiet. Veradhan chuckled. "Ah. More accusations, I presume? Will you wave false evidence again, Ambassador?" "No," Alex said. "I will not waste truth on the deaf." She sat down, hands folded. The silence lingered uncomfortably before Veradhan moved on to procedural matters. But the tension was different now, static crawling beneath diplomacy. The Kreldar delegate refused to vote. The Zarin abstained. The Kalari delayed for internal reflection. Even the Hydrexians whispered among themselves. Veradhan's perfect smile cracked. That night, in the quiet of her quarters, Alex sat with her feet propped against the transparent alloy window, the stars reflecting in her eyes. "Council destabilization is at 37%, Kanto reported. Uncertainty metrics rising. Proposal C-29 unlikely to pass by majority. They're bleeding without a shot fired," Alex said. "Let them suffer confusion. It's cleaner than war." Kanto paused. "Ambassador, there's one concern." "Speak." "The Chancellor will retaliate." "Not openly, not yet. But something is coming." Alex nodded. "Then we'll be gone before it lands." She stood, activated her secure console, and sent a single message through the oldest, darkest channel Earth still used. To EarthGov Strategic Ops. Subject, Code Omega. Initiate withdrawal. All ambassadors. All assets. No farewells. Let them feel the silence. She closed the interface, then pulled the blackout curtain over the window. Tomorrow, she would walk out of the chamber and never return. But tonight the stars were quiet. And that was enough. They noticed the absence before the presence. At the start of the final session, Earth's delegation chamber was dark. The seat where Alex Rain had sat for weeks stood empty beneath the crest of the United Earth Alliance. Delegates whispered across species lines, was it a protest? An insult? Or worse, a retreat? Then, precisely 7 minutes after roll call, the doors opened. Alex entered alone. No aides. No ceremonial guard. No datapads or speech scrolls. Just the cold steel of her presence, dressed in a matte black diplomatic coat that shimmered faintly in the chamber's light. She walked to her podium without glancing at anyone, her gaze anchored forward. Veradhan watched from his throne above. His fingers were still. His voice steady. "Ambassador Rain," he said, "your timing, while dramatic, is disruptive." Alex pressed her palm to the mic console. "I will not speak long." A murmur moved like wind through the tiers. She looked directly at the Chancellor. "For a century, Earth has honored this council. We accepted scrutiny. We tolerated exclusion. We walked the long, hard road from isolation to participation, because we believed peace could be earned through patience." She turned slowly, letting her gaze sweep the assembly. "But peace without trust is not peace. It's quiet tyranny." The room stilled. "Last cycle," Alex continued, "you asked us to surrender control of our wormholes? To kneel in exchange for access. You called it stabilization. You dressed it in diplomacy." Her voice did not rise. It sharpened. "Yet beneath your words we found silence. A silence filled with orchestrated conflict. Fabricated war. Stolen futures." She tapped a control bead. A projection flared behind her, snippets of redacted files, time-stamped orders, directive codes, council signatures approving simmering ice. Gasps echoed. Several councillors rose from their seats. The Kreldar shrieked in protest. The Kalari delegate turned their face away. Veradhan did not blink. "You present forged shadows," he said calmly. "Out-of-context transmissions. This is fearmongering." "I present your words, Chancellor," Alex said. "Dated. Authenticated. And now permanently archived across 12 independent inforoutes. Even if I die today, your secrets burn in the open." The room boiled with unrest. A Hydrexian councillor slammed his translator core against the rail, shouting in their native clicks. The Diari Kolanva, who had remained absent for weeks, appeared suddenly via hololink, silent but visible. Sishel's presence sent ripples through the chamber. "You engineered our pain," the Queen's voice echoed. "We were livestock in your testbed. Humanity was not our enemy. You were." The display vanished. Veradhan stood. "This is treason." "No," Alex said. "This is withdrawal." She pressed one final command. Behind her, Earth's crest dimmed, then blinked out. "We leave the Council. Effective immediately. No appeals. No negotiation. You will receive no further cooperation, no access to Earth's gates, and no trade through Sol." Shock rippled through the room. Veradhan stepped down from his platform. "You cannot simply vanish. Earth will be isolated. Vulnerable." Alex met his gaze with calm steel. "You mistake silence for weakness." Again. A warning alarm chimed across the station's internal comms. Fleet tracking arrays showed Earth ships leaving shared orbital facilities. Diplomats from allied species were vanishing into jump lanes. Veradhan's composure cracked. "You'll start a war." "No," Alex replied. "You already did." Then she walked out, never turning back. Hours later, aboard the human flagship Resolute, Alex stood on the command deck, watching the station shrink into a glittering dot behind layers of artificial atmosphere. Messages flooded in, requests for clarification, desperate appeals from smaller systems. Delegates panicked. Some wanted to follow. Others demanded an explanation. She answered none of them. EarthGov had made its decision. And now, the galaxy would feel its absence like a blade gone from the sheath. Kanto's voice chimed. "Chancellor Veradhan has issued an emergency resolution to bar Earth from all future negotiations. Motion passed with limited support." "Let him spin his theater," Alex said. "Every lie pushes another system into doubt." "The Kalari have suspended their trade pact with the Council," Kanto added. "Zarin systems declaring neutrality. The Kreldar are withdrawing their ambassadorial fleet." "Good." Alex folded her arms. "Let him rule over ruins." A brief silence. Then Kanto asked, "Was it worth it?" Alex did not answer right away. She stared out the viewport, where Earth waited like a blue whisper in the void, wrapped in silence and pride. "We lost millions in the war they started," she said quietly. "We were called unstable. Primitive. We didn't scream. We didn't beg. We learned. We endured." She turned. "And today, we answered. Not with weapons, but with the one thing they never expected." Kanto processed her silence, then finished her sentence. "Dignity." Back on Concord Station, Verithan stood alone in his private chamber, listening to the soundless collapse of everything he'd built. His advisors whispered of rising resistance, economic fractures, dissidents emboldened by Earth's departure. He opened the dossier Alex had released and read it again, line by damning line. Then, for the first time in decades, the Chancellor sat down, not to plan, not to dictate, but to wonder how long it would take before others followed Earth's path. Not in fire. Not in fury. But in silence. Final line. They thought they understood humans. They never understood what silence meant when it came with the sound of doors closing behind them.